Welcome to Getting Unstuck with Wendy B. I set my alarm 1 minute too late. I apologize. I said 12 noon today. So thank you for getting Unstuck with Wendy B. If you're watching the replay, let me know I've brought you value by just saying hello. And thank you. And I thought, I would do the topic on curiosity versus taking things personal. And I had an incident that happened this week, but I also coach in this area. So I just thought, wow, here's an opportunity I got to grow and learn, and maybe it would support others. So thank you. Welcome for getting on to Getting Unstuck with Wendy B. I am a coach, and I say I'm a transformational solution coach, but I even want to narrow it down even more. And I thought I'm a transformational solution coach. Hi, Heather Stewin. Thanks for what? Oh, it's so good to see you. So I am a transformational coach, and but I'm narrowing it down into to deal with people's righteousness, like how righteousness stops us from living a fulfilled life with our partners and with our coworkers and just in general in life. So that's really what I specialize in. I'm very masterful at it. And then I'm also a podcaster. I have a podcast, Thriving at 60. I'm in 30 different countries, and I have over 25,000 followers, and which is exciting. I'm also a speaker and an author of 2 books. One is Living Your Passion, and I wrote it with James Malachuk and a few other authors. And my best-selling book that is on sale right now, Getting Unstuck, and it shows up backwards when I show it this way. 30 ways to turn your limiting barriers into clarity, freedom, and power. And it's on Amazon. The paperback, you can order it on Amazon. It's on sale for $10.95 US this week. And it's also, the ebook's on sale for only $1.95 if anybody's interested. And that's on Amazon. The ebook's on Amazon, Tolino, Kobo, Apple, Barnes & Noble, Overdrive, 24 Symbols, but the paperback is only available on Amazon. So that's a little about me. So I came across this saying, and it said, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. And it's by Maya Angelou. And I thought, do I like myself? And I actually do. I actually had a incident that happened this week because of someone's righteousness, and it hit. It was like being hit in the solar plexus with a boot kicked in the, and I had a choice of taking it personal or dealing with it so that I could like myself and leave the people with dignity and grace. I love what I do. I like what I do. I live a very fulfilled life. I get to coach people. I get to write. I get to speak. And I also do part-time work in a group home for troubled teens. And during the COVID-19, that's been really challenging because the kids do not follow the protocol on hygiene. So I had to be very creative about rules in the house because I live with them 3 and 4, sometimes at the beginning 12 days in a row. So we had to take precautions for the workers in the house so that we would be safe. And most of the time I like what I'm doing. And hi, Simmer. I like what I'm doing. And it was really great for me to deal with certain things this week in a way that would leave people with dignity and grace. And so like I say, I specialize as a transformational coach. I specialize in people giving up their righteousness. especially, and the hardest thing about giving up being right is giving up being right when we are right. And I can give you a little example of that is, as a child, I was raised in violence, and I had a father that was sexually inappropriate and physically inappropriate with me. And I took a course in my 20s, and it was a transformational course on life, and my whole life transformed. And I believe we're like an onion skin, and we can peel away the layers. And as we peel the layers away, there's just another barrier in our life that we need to deal with. And if we deal with it, we just live a more fulfilled life. So, I was really upset about, I was dealing with some past emotions with my father. And doing this transformational course, I got to look at, I could be right. And I was right. My father did inappropriate stuff. And I'm not condoning it or any of that stuff. I'm not saying it was right what he did or anything, so don't hear that. But I could be right and stay in my anger and my frustration, or I could let go of being right and look at what was I committed to. And what I was committed to was being complete with my dad and living a fulfilled life. And to be complete with my dad, I had to give up being right. What my dad did was inappropriate. And how did I want to live my life? Did I want to keep holding on to my justification and my righteousness, or did I want to let it go and live a fulfilled life? And fortunately for me, it took a while. I had to go for therapy. I had to do the leg work to be able to let go of being right. And I got to live a fulfilled life, and I got to forgive my dad. And the last, I would say last 35 years of my dad's life, I could have interactions with him in person or on the phone. And it didn't have to come from my anger and rage that I used to have as a child and as a teenager and as a young woman. And being able to give up being right, and not that, I did confront my father in my 30s. I confronted him in a safe way and told him, no one's talked about this. This is what you did. This shaped my life. This defined who I was. And I'm unwilling to not speak about it because I want to get complete and live a fulfilled life and raise my children in a powerful way. And so I never was like huggy with my dad after that, but I loved him. I forgave him, and I just told my children that he was not a safe he wasn't a grandpa that you could hug. He wasn't a safe grandpa to hug. That he had done inappropriate things when I grew up, and that to keep them safe, my job as their mom to keep them safe was to let them know that, and that they, I let them know that I never wanted them alone with him ever. And so that's how I raised my kids, but there wasn't this like nasty stuff about it. And in the end, when my father passed away 2 years ago, the gift I gave my dad is that he knew I'd forgiven him. And the other gift I gave my father was about a year or two before my father passed, I had a conversation with him because I had been divorced and I was on my own, and I was writing my book. It wasn't a bestseller. That particular book wasn't a bestseller at the time. And I was able to let my dad know. So this is a gift we can give our parents when we give up being right about how they raised us, is that I was living a fulfilled life. And that's all our parents want from us, is to know that we have lived a fulfilled life. So that, so it's like, get curious about why people behave a certain way. And even if it's we don't like that behavior, get curious about what's behind that behavior. And can you be forgiving? Can you be generous? Can you be appropriate with them? And can you have a conversation? I mean, the thing that when I started Success is Liking Yourself, what I liked about myself is that I addressed my father, myself, and I dealt with what I needed to deal with my father without rage, and it took something to be able to do that, but I was able to go to my father one-on-one and deal with what worked and what didn't work. And I think that's really important when we have an upset or something that's going on in our life that jars us or triggers us, or we need to look at, what's behind that behavior, and do a one-on-one and deal with that. Liking what you do, I love what I do. I've mentioned that. And then liking how I do it. Most of the time I like how I do it. And if I do something I don't like, I immediately let the person know. And I think that's important. And hopefully if the person doesn't like how I behaved, they might want to get curious why I behaved the way I did, then I expect them to do a one-on-one with me. And then we can deal with it privately and leave each other with dignity and grace. Whatever we decide that is workable for both of us, we leave each other with dignity and grace. So that's, I was going to share something else, but I'm not today. But to me, when we get curious, and I'm going to tell a little story about curiosity. I was exasperated with my daughter one day. She was 8 or 9, and her behavior was really inappropriate. And I was just like, rah! I just wanted to and something said to me, get curious why she's doing what she's doing. And so I calmed down, counted to 10, went into the bathroom, gave myself a few minutes to breathe, made some funny faces in the mirror so I'd be calm. And I went back to her and I said, honey, why did you do what you did? And in her innocent, looking into her eyes and in her innocence, she said, Mom, I thought I was helping you. Sorry, the phone rang. All that upset that I had before just disappeared, and I just got into her world. And so I'm inviting us to get curious when something happens that we don't like. Can you get, after you go through your reactions and whatever, because we're human, we have reactions and emotions, can you get curious and find out why they did what they did? And maybe it isn't as personal as we thought. And I'll go back to my dad, him doing the stuff that he did to me, he wasn't complete with my mom. My mom and him split years ago. And I'm not condoning what he did, but it wasn't personal, even though it felt very personal. And I don't know if you can understand that, but it was stuff that he hadn't dealt with that had him do the inappropriate behavior. And, I'm asserting that most of the time when people do things in life that we don't particularly like, if we can, deal with our emotions, step back, breathe, and then go back to them and have a calm conversation, because they might have not been calm. And then, hi, Rodney. Hi, Ronnie. How are you? It's good to see you. Hey, I got people from all over Canada. Great. So going back to, if we get curious and ask that person why they did what they did, it generally usually is not personal. It has to do with something from their past that they're dealing with, and it really has nothing to do with us. And if we can let go of our righteousness, and making people wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, we get to live a fulfilled life. And in the end, with the beginning of the story with my dad, when my dad passed, he passed knowing he had been forgiven. And the gift I gave him is he knew I lived a fulfilled life. When I gave up being right about how my daughter was, and I got into her world, I was able to let go of, because I really, with my daughter at night, I really thought she was purposely doing stuff to aggravate me. It was just like, and she wasn't. She thought she was helping me. So that's, I'll leave you with, get curious when we're being righteous, and see, yes, support from Hamilton, Ronnie. Get curious, and we will live. I believe that if we get curious, we will start living a fulfilled life, and we'll get that it is not personal. Most of the time, anything that's done is not personal, even when we feel it's personal. So thank you for. Hopefully, I gave you some value. And if you want to jump on my webpage, wendybergen.com, you can book a 30-minute session with me. It's a complimentary session, and we'll look at, what you're dealing with, and hopefully I can bring you some value. And like I say, I'll promote my book, Getting Unstuck, 30 Ways to Turn Your Limiting Barriers into Clarity, Freedom, and Power. It's a powerful book on really about letting go of being right, coming from what are you committed to rather than being right. So thank you for coming on. I got thrown off for a moment because of certain things happening today in the group home. Thank you for jumping on, and I'm not sure I was doing Facebook Lives every day for 3 weeks because of COVID-19. I will relook at that. I know for sure I will come on at noon on Sundays, and I'll relook at how I'll relook at if it serves you guys or me guys to be on every day. So thanks for coming on, and hopefully at least I'll see you next Sunday, and who knows, maybe tomorrow. Thanks. Bye now.